Welcome back to motorhoming in the slow lane. As you can see, we are not in Sofia. If you missed our last video, I'll pop a recap in for you now. Our journey homewards has not ended well. We are stuck on the M90, waiting for the AA.
Update for you. So last night we broke down at 6 o'clock. At 11 o'clock the recovery guy came out to us with his van and decided within 5 minutes he couldn't do anything on the road. He brought us back to the service station. So we arrived at the service station about 11 o'clock. At 3 o'clock this morning there was still nothing they could do, so they've put us up in the travel lodge just across the road, and we've been there since 3 o'clock this morning. It's now 8:30. Already phoned the RAC 3 times this morning. They still haven't got anyone out to her. She's still on the side of the M90, and no sign at the moment of anyone being able to recover us. So Sarah and I don't know what's going to happen with Sophia. We don't know how we're getting home. You that follow us on Instagram, you'll know that Sophia is a very, very poorly girl. She has a significant problem in her engine. And well, effectively she's chewed herself up inside, and she now needs an engine replacement. So 3 months ago we left Edinburgh. As you will know from that little clip, we had a catastrophic engine failure that led to us being on the side of the motorway for pretty much the whole night before the RAC got us back. The van arrived back in Swindon a few days later at the garage, and since then we've had the engine removed. We've had a reconditioned engine put back in. But today we had a rather interesting call with the garage, who effectively have said that the engine isn't very good and needs to be, or something needs to happen with it, but they haven't got the time nor the inclination to do it. So today we've paid a bill for a van, or labour on a van, that isn't fixed.
So I think the funniest thing was, Lee called the garage yet again, because on Friday, they'd promised the van would be back Friday, we were going to go away for the weekend. 4:30 Friday afternoon, they called to say that the engine will not start. My first question to Lee was, they probably need to charge the battery because there will be no battery. What were your words?
I said they'll put it on a power starter because every mechanic knows you need to have a good battery to start an engine. So to find out today that the reason it wouldn't start on Friday was because the battery was flat, beggars belief.
So yeah, so that was quite funny. So we get a call, come down, collect the van. So we were quite excited. We got in the car, really excited, and we got met with the receptionist, who told us that we can't drive Sophia. She now needs to be picked up on a flatbed.
The van is undrivable, it's dropping coolant, there's a loud knocking noise coming from the engine. Now we've seen the engine running, the new engine that came down, we've seen it running in a video. So we've got back in contact with the guy who done the rebuild on an engine for us, and we're having it recovered back to his workshop all the way in Cambridgeshire. It's going to cost £300 to have that recovered, and he's going to sort it for us.
But I think what you forgot is that actually the engine was delivered about 3 weeks ago on a Wednesday. Was it more than that?
More than that, yeah.
And the garage basically told us they couldn't fit us in, but they were going to charge us £15 per day to store the van, which was a little bit of a kick in the teeth. So they fitted the engine and then announced at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning that they were missing 3 parts of the engine, and if we collected it or got new parts, we could have the van that Monday.
So Sarah then drove from Swindon all the way over to Cambridgeshire, out into the Fenlands, to pick up the 3 parts, communicating with the garage on what parts were needed, and arrived back in Swindon 7 hours later to be told that the parts that she'd got were all wrong.
But the guy that I got the parts from called the garage, and the garage confirmed which 3 parts they were. One of them was a dipstick. I mean, there are no words. We literally have no more words.
Running out of
money,
things to say. So
we honestly think this could be the end of Sophia.
We'll see what happens when she gets back to the guy who done the engine, which is guaranteed. He's going to have a look over it. He thinks that they've missed something fairly simple. If there is damage to the engine, because it's guaranteed for a year, he's going to fix it for us anyway.
But the MOT actually runs out on Sofia next Thursday.
So the MOT's due as well. So we've got another frantic couple of weeks going. We've managed the grand total of 1 weekend and 1 week in Sofia, which ended in tragedy in Edinburgh. And we're now well into middle of June. So all the trips that we've had planned up to this point, we've had to cancel. And the ones we've got planned from here on in are in jeopardy, I think.
We've got a big trip planned in September, travelling over to Spain. We don't even know if we can trust Sofia anymore. I think we're at that crossroads where when do you stop?
So we were hoping to have had the van back at the end of April, was when we were first expecting it back. And we were hoping to get a good few months in it to build some confidence in it and knock out any niggles that might have come with a new engine. But as it stands today, we've only got July and August in the van, which realistically would only be a couple of trips away before
a mammoth trip to Spain.
So we don't know. We'll have to have a think about that.
I mean, pop in the comments. What would you guys do? Would you kind of carry on with Sofia? Me and Leah are kind of...
So we thought about this long and hard. So when the engine went, we had 3 options to us. The first option was to cut our losses and scrap the van. The second option was to get a replacement engine just from a breaker's yard. And then the third option was to go for the refurbished engine. So we went for the more expensive refurbished engine. The mechanics told us that she's solid in terms of her bodywork. So a new engine or a refurbished engine would avoid the doubt of having an engine that you don't know the history of. It would have had all the good work done on it, so it would have been a positive from that perspective. And effectively, what we were expecting to get back was a van in as good as nick as a van that's 32-year-old could be. But it's not turning out that way. So hopefully the guy can sort these problems out. He reckons it's probably just a little thing that they've missed or not done along the way. Hopefully it's that, and he can have the van up and running within a couple of days. But I guess we'll have to keep you posted. But
so I guess this has been quite a negative video. We're not holding anybody to account. We're not blaming anybody. We're not blamers. We don't blame anybody. I think we just wished that if the garage didn't know what they were doing, they should have just kind of said to us. But I'm not going to dwell on that. We're just going to move forward, and I'm going to leave a little montage of some nice trips away in Sofia. And do you want to say it? Do you think it's going to happen? We'll see you.
One day we hope to see you, preferably on the road again. But we'll have to wait and see.